live here with Hank and Tori in a hacker called.
Yeah.
All right. I'm thinking I should do theme music. We should also do a theme bumper to make it look a little more professional. So if you guys are here on the ground floor for episode 4, you're seeing the rough cut. Or maybe you're listening to us because maybe I got around to setting up a podcast, and you're tuned into this amazing show we call A Hacker Called. So a little bit of news that Hank is going to be on Drinking About, the other show on the Weirding Network, which I don't know if I don't think I told you, Hank, but we are on a podcast network called the Weirding, which
sounds suitable.
Yeah, yeah. So the Weirding network is, we're trying to do a religion, because in America you get weird tax breaks for being a religion. So we want to actually start a religion in the eyes of the government, and have it'll be kind of like a social club. So there's laws, I think, around drinking. You can have alcohol for cheaper at a church or something. So so it's the Weirding cult, I guess. I don't know if we have the website up yet, but anyway, if you found us through Weirding, then awesome. So yeah, this is all a work in progress. And then I also wanted to say that I've been shopping the idea because I kind of honestly don't really like A Hacker Called, the name, but everyone I talk to loves the name. So and they're my friends, so I think they're right, and I just gotta deal with it, and I think it'll grow on me, and I'll eventually love it. So
that's
what do you think?
That's a tough one, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, in our accelerator program, we teach validation in the second week. It's a 15-week program.
Yeah.
And we give people the assignments, the targets to eliminate, to validate their product idea with an audience. And asking your friends is always a bad idea. So
really?
we ask people just to go out of the building, like after doing a lot of other preparation, so they a little bit know what to do and what to ask, to go out of the building and actually try to find, let's say, their ideal customer. And later in the program, the customers will be way more ideal than at that level, but at least at that moment, their ideal customer, and ask questions, not so much revealing what they do, but more, like knowing if they would be busy or interested in something, what they're in, just to see what the response is. So I think asking friends, in this case, it's okay, probably, because it's a little bit different than trying to sell them some kind of gadget or invention or whatever. Because I mean, friends always want to be the real friends. They beat your face, but I mean, right. Semi-friends they just they always want to be polite to you. No matter what you do, everything is great.
Well, I mean, so it was. I'm thinking specifically of a guy at work who I just met, and I was telling him about it, and I said, I don't know if I really like the name, and then I presented the name, and he's like, no, that's a good name. It's actually really cool. But that's a sample size of one, so it's not very scientific. But then there's also I just want to move on and start. So I think we'll just keep the name, and I already got the URL. So I mean, I heard of the company that started Moderna, who came up with the first vaccine, or the first American vaccine. I don't know if the Americans were first, but the first COVID vaccine in America was from Moderna, and it was from an accelerator, and I forget the name of the accelerator, but they just called it let's say their name is Blobject, which it's not. They had Blobject 1, Blobject 2, Blobject 3, and then I don't know, Moderna was probably like Blobject 15. And they just used that name just so they didn't have to worry about the name. And then threw a bunch of money at it to see if it worked, and little by little it worked. And it wasn't specifically set out to work for a COVID vaccine. It was actually sort of just a random stroke of luck. I know it's weird to say COVID was lucky, but for this company, they were basically trying to figure out an application for RNA technologies. And so this sort of presented itself, and they were in the right position. And but anyway, the point is,
I was thought about a hacker called yesterday by accident, and I had kind of a third feeling about this. Like, I mean, a third meaning feeling, right? Like, how can you read this name? Well, what do you feel if you hear this name? What do you think it means when you hear it? So, like, a hacker called someone. Like, I mean, I'm calling someone. That is that's what we plan to do. On the other side, a hacker called Tori. So a hacker named Tori. But if I would say a hacker called James Bond, then you can also think, oh, I didn't know James Bond was a hacker.
Oh, I see.
So you can also twist it the third way around.
Like someone who doesn't consider themselves a hacker, and you're like, no, that's our definition of hacker. So, I like it. Okay. I can show you a sort of rough design that I've made for the logo. Let's share screen. I think I can just share the one. Okay, that thing. Can you see that?
Not yet, but there it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very simple. And basically, it's like a hacker called, and see how the shade is on the inside as well as the outside. So it's like a hacker called, and there's like this hole in it. And then bringing the fun back to hacking, I just wanted to put words in there. And so like each episode could have different words, or there'd be a picture in there or something related to the show. So I don't know. I still have to sort of spend some time and think about it, but that's basically what I'm thinking about. It's just those little cheesy name badges that you get, and then we could.
Yeah, this is probably one of the very cheapest name badges ever.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very simple.
And then we can. I'm sort of envisioning we have the sticker, the like, we just have a sheet of them that we can give out when we get big and have conferences, or they could be merch or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, what do you?
What do you think? By that way, this Sunday in our accelerator program, we're talking about branding, and one of the mentors is Matthew Wills.
Okay, shall I know who that is?
Yeah, you don't know who that is, and nobody knows. But if you see his website, you will never forget him anymore.
Oh, okay.
So his company is called Floob Creative, FLOOB Creative.
Creative.com.
Probably, or if you just type Floob Creative in one of the search engines, you probably.
Oh yeah. Brand mascot character design. So
and now that is burned. Like as soon as you see those images, they are burned in your mind forever.
Yeah, they're like pretty iconic, sort of like almost an anime influence, and
the fun thing is, like, they also do that on merch, right? So they first start with creating that brand mascot, which is kind of like. It's almost like gimmicky, like drawings. How you call that? Like cartoon-like figures.
Yeah, here. Let me share
and then they make them come to life, like different positions and moving for different kind of media. Yeah, that was the original one.
Cool. Okay.
And then there's also other ones what they used with a birdie, and that's for golf. So that they put that birdie on a golf ball and on backpacks and whatever.
Huh. Oh, Emily Strange. I like Emily Strange stuff. Emily the Strange is one of their characters?
Maybe, yeah, could be. If it's there, I would expect so.
Interesting. Oh, their brand mascot. Did some stuff for
Yeah,
Dark Horse
the one on the
Crispy.
third row in the middle, that one.
Mr. and Mrs. Bund comics? Or you mean the
No,
Louis
one
Vuitton?
under.
Oh,
No.
Lulu Birdie?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay.
So and
interesting.
you see that's on a golf ball. No, and you know what they call, like, if you hit this ball
Yeah,
in it, it's
if
a
you
birdie.
hit-
But this is a birdie on a golf ball. So I mean,
Yeah.
and it makes total sense, right? As merch. So I think they're awesome, and I'm really pleased to have them in our program as a mentor.
Very cool. Yeah, birdie, I believe, is when you hit one below par.
Okay.
And par is each hole is either 3 or 4. Is like each hole, par means you get the whatever, and the different distances are how many hits it takes to be par. Usually it's 3. Some of the longer ones are 4. And so birdie is like on a par 4, you hit 3, and you hit 2 in a 3. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. My dad's been teaching me golf. I'm only semi-interested in it. Well, that's cool. Okay, so let's...
take some inspiration from this. And
that's awesome. Yeah. Secret Order of the Teddy Bears. Yeah, that would be super cool if they could make a little icon for us. Oh, interesting. They got that. My nephew is really into the one with the triangle face. The well, I can't remember it. The name's not reaching me, but it's a really popular, scary thing. I don't know.
it's good how in how many characters they can turn that Floopy thing, right?
Yeah.
See, I saw a Captain American Floopy, and this one is that
Hellboy. Yeah, I really like Hellboy. He's a cool character. He's sort of like this badass, really strong devil that's also trying to be good, and it has like a snarky attitude. I like that character. Anyway, Comic-Con is coming up, I think, end of this month. No, next month, Comic-Con. I live in San Diego area where Comic-Con is, so it's sort of this thing that takes over our downtown area. So
it also means that people are dressing up as their favorite. Lots of anime as well.
Yeah, so it used to be just comics. So when I was a kid, we would go in. I actually snuck in as got some fake press pass badges. Me and my high school friend, actually the producer of the Weirding Network, and I. And you could just go in with your sketchbook, and there were just booths. It's like one floor, a bunch of booths with comic book artists, and you go, "Hey, can you do an image for me?" So they draw something and sign their name, and like I wouldn't even know who half of the comic book artists were, but they'd sign it, and then I'd look them up later and go, "Oh my God, it's that guy that does that comic." So I have a whole sketchbook from high school that somehow I've managed to keep. That's got some really cool illustrations in it. Amazing. But then now, but then it's sort of got more and more commercial. I remember one of the steps over the edge into commercialism is the guy who did the Spawn comic started to charge people for the illustrations, and we're like, "Oh, that guy's an asshole." But everybody started doing it, and then it got more into like TV shows and sci-fi, and now it's more like I don't know what to call it, but it's not comics anymore. It's like pop culture. Anything pop culture will be part of it, and there's a huge like cosplay contingent. So now even though I live there, I can't get tickets most years. So I end up just going down with my camera, and it's really fun because these people are dressed up and they want to pose for you. So it's not like you're just sort of sneaking around taking photos. You're like, hey, can you do like strike a pose? And they all have this pose that they're probably like have rehearsed. So it's good to come like the second day and they've got their pose figured out. So I'll probably do. I might actually be working there this year, so maybe I won't have a chance to do it.
Just volunteer if there's no other option. And you know, that's what we say. There's one guy in our program. He he lives in Sydney, and then in Melbourne there is this big fair, and the entry ticket fee is like $1,500. And he's I don't know, he's not a student anymore, but he's still very young. And like flying there is like very cheap, but getting in is pretty costly. So, but like there's like a 70% chance that his ideal customer is on that show, and there's a few hundred of these people there. So we gave him this special mission to fly to Melbourne and get in.
Oh,
and
cool.
So if you can't get in, just either you volunteer, you offer the organization to volunteer. So that's how you get in.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, you sneak in. And if that doesn't work, then you just hang around the scene in the coffee shops right around the area.
Yeah, it's gotten so. Last time I actually got tickets, going inside was not that interesting. It was this huge, just sort of overwhelming area with tons of booths, and I mean it was kind of cool. You could see some products that were coming out, but most of the fun was happening outside in the streets. So yeah, definitely, I would agree with that. There was a time I was living in San Francisco, and somehow it was easy to get in free tickets to a lot of the conventions. So I got into the first Google I/O, I think they call it Google I/O, and got in for free. And I think just by being associated with a school or something like that, or just being on a list. So yeah, there's many different ways to get in conferences. I think that's actually a good tip. I hadn't thought
how
about.
screen share works. So when I just met my wife to be, we were going up the escalator in a metro station, in a subway. We were going up. This was a deep, long escalator. And then while we were going up, she was pulling my attention, and she said, "Hey, look left." And so we saw a girl dressed up as a character, and it was interesting. So I said, "Shall we go back down?" And she said, "Yes, let's go back down." So we went back down again, and I was really shy. So I asked my wife, asked her if we can make a picture. So she said, "Can we make a picture?" And this, and you said this pose, right? So this she took like 3 seconds to get this pose.
Oh, cool.
And then I make this picture. And I mean, this face keeps hunting me day and night. I mean, I wanted to ask my wife, shall we ask her to take her home? But I was shy because she wasn't even my wife. Even if she was my wife, I would probably still be shy. But I mean, just asking your girlfriend, who might be your wife, if she agrees to take another girl like this home, it's probably not. I don't know. I'm a little bit careful with that.
Well, apparently there's a new convention called Frolicon, and they mix BDSM and cosplay together. And it's in Atlanta, Georgia. I probably won't go because it's in Atlanta, but it's an interesting idea.
I always thought, like, what's in the bag? You know, like this. She's carrying this bag, and I always like.
Maybe a change of clothes. I don't know.
Yeah, of course. That's. But I mean, I'm imagining like handcuffs and other stuff. You know. Okay, let me stop sharing. But this is, and so there's really there are really good shows here in Shenzhen related to.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. Also in the big trade show buildings. How do you call those?
Huh. I should come over. Well, I can't go this year. I was looking at tickets. It's 12,000 right now to book a ticket for October. So I don't know. I feel like I mentioned that last time, but I'm going to Berlin instead.
I think most people still fly through Hong Kong.
Yeah, I should do that instead. Anyway, I'm not going because it's just too much this year. So I'm going to Berlin instead for the first time. I'm going to see Mitch there and the husband and wife team that started Troublemaker.
Yeah,
so that's going to be cool.
The husband wife, that is Florian and
nope.
She's no.
Carrie and oh, sorry. No, did I say Steamhead?
Yes, Steamhead. Yeah, that's not true. I guess Steamhead.
Carrie and
James.
James, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean they are awesome. I think they're in the States. I thought they were in the States. They're in Berlin.
They are. Yeah, no, they're going to Berlin. So that was what made me decide to.
Because you can actually meet a founder of Troublemaker in Berlin. My Dutch co-founder, the one who guided me around the 25 makerspaces, and then we couldn't find one. That one, he lives in Berlin.
Wow, can I meet him when I'm make
absolutely.
An introduction? That would be cool. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do a show from Berlin. Hopefully by then we'll have a better production value. I have a couple guests, but I want to wait till we get the show a little more polished. But we got Mitch and another guy, Mitchell. Coincidentally, he does like little boxes for effects for guitars and basses and stuff. And he's got a cool band and he's taught programming and always doing like crazy maker stuff. And then another guy, Mark, I think, who's really into drones and does the builds his own drones and stuff like that. So we're definitely going to have some guests coming up. I'm sure you have a bunch of people that we could get as guests too, right?
I have a couple. I'm trying to look them up. Daniel Hetzel is the founder of FabLab Berlin. He's an awesome guy.
Cool. Okay. Oh, so FabLab, is that part of MIT or is that?
Yeah, that's an original MIT one.
Oh, okay. Wow, cool.
And then there is Mike, the deep tech guy, and then there is the girl from Make On.
Oh, I don't know. Make On.
Well, Make On is like a maker, like a STEM electronic stuff, but you connect everything with electric tape. So she has made these PCBs which have big connection pads instead of like small holes, and then you just glue tape wherever you want, and you connect everything with electric tape, and then it works. Jessica Kolb from Make On. She's one of the oldest members of the official Troublemaker membership, which I started in 2019. She there you can meet her. If she's not in Amsterdam, she's always going between Holland and Germany. She's American, by the way.
Cool. Okay. And then I'll have a layover in Copenhagen for a day, and I hope to shoot over to Malmo because it's right across it's like 2 bus stops away or something, and I can check off another country off my list of places I've been. Cool. So, what else? Was there something? We want to talk about my, I guess, maker name or my online name. So you came up with Faraday. Another one that people seem to like was Taurus, like not the bull, but the shape, because it's close to my name and it's, I don't know. Do you think you could call me Taurus? Would that? Because
it sounds a little bit Hellboyish, you know.
Hellboy, Taurus. Okay.
No,
Oh,
no,
that's not
no,
bad.
it's a very powerful name.
Yeah, I was thinking like if people mistake it for the bull instead of the shape, that's okay. Or if they say, "Hey, Tori," and I would still respond to that because that's my real name, and then other people would say Taurus, and then there might be some confusion, and that might be make me a little more interesting. So I don't know. I think Taurus is what I'm gonna use.
And then you can even take it into Latin. Like Taurus is the single nominative, I think. What is that?
Spelled the same way? Torus?
Yeah, well, if Latin ends on US, then it's in grammar. I forgot the names, but I mean, Taurus is one, and Tori would be multiple.
Yeah.
And
actually, it says that. I just Googled it while you were talking, and the if you have two Tauruses, they're two Tori.
Yeah.
And that my name's Tori, so I'm okay. That's that's settled it. So I am the singular form, or I'm Tori, but the singular form
actually
is
then you
Taurus.
can put his name. Say it's like Taurus, Tori, Torem, like all those endings,
Taurus.
because there are different. They become a subjective or they become an objective depending on the ending of the name.
I love it. Also, a synonym is donut, which is I'm not that opposed to. All right, that's it. I'm Taurus. You can talk to me, Taurus. Like, I thought your name was Tori. No, that's the plural form. The singular form is Taurus. Okay, that's solved. Check off. Pick internet name. It's Taurus. Cool. Okay, so with Hank and Taurus, a hacker called with Hank and Taurus. Do you want a internet name, or are you just gonna go by Hank?
That's actually a good question.
Or you could go by Hank, the American Hank.
Yeah, well, I mean that happens sometimes automatically if they don't know. I think Hank with an E is distinctive enough. That's good also.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, since I opened Troublemaker, I've been using that name, and it's like Hank of Troublemaker, and that has become a name by itself. It's like, I don't know if I should actually do something with it or just leave it. It's like would you ask Elon to change his name into something, right? I mean, it's like he could, but I mean, is it worth or something? I'm not comparing myself with Elon.
Well, that has a ring to it. A hacker called with Taurus and Hank.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. Well,
but we will see. I mean, if
solving problems as we go. Cool. Okay, so I want to do a song for it. Are you good at making music? I'm okay at it. I think I could actually put something together. Just record acoustic guitar singing something. I did that for my podcast, and it came out like a little better than I anticipated.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I have good moments and I have less good moments.
Do you make electronic music, or I mean?
No, not so much music. Like I sometimes sing. I mean, I sing a lot, by the way, and I whistle a lot. But
you sing a lot? Would you say you sing?
I have. I mean, I sing just in everyday, like like I'm at home and I just or I whistle, like the.
Yeah, I do too. I like singing to my niece and nephew because they don't know how bad I am. But also do open mics.
But the best thing is when I actually got inspired and I start editing texts.
Okay.
Like if there's an original text of something, but then I get inspired by a twist of words, which I think is really funny. That's usually how it starts. And then I take that one small sentence and that kind of evolves into a totally new text on the same melody. Like I'm not good in composing music or I don't play any instrument well enough to use that. But yeah, rewriting song text or writing my own song text and singing them, I do that for fun necessarily,
Okay.
not necessarily on stage anymore. I did on stage before, but
Oh, cool. Singing or like improv or what?
both a little bit. Like I was, yeah, you call it improv, but I did that more as a university program for like 1 or 2 years.
Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, right.
and and I did 3 years on amateur musical.
Nice. As in a
Um,
like high school or college?
no, that was I was 30 something,
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
but it was still in the creative department of the University of Amsterdam, and they have all these courses,
Very
and
cool.
it is just awesome because like the atmosphere there is like freaking great, you know. So, and if you're a little bit older, then you just get different roles. Like
Mm,
you're not these youngsters anymore.
yeah.
So I had a lot of fun with these people. It's like amazing.
Cool. Yeah. I improv is great. I mean, it's just like the whole notion of yes anding and even if you never intend to like perform at all, like just learning some basic improv is really great. I did a course in Beijing. I taught like design thinking, and the Chinese guy. So it was bilingual. So I taught the in English, and then he translated in Chinese, and then he taught in Chinese, and I did not translate because I don't know Chinese. But he taught everyone improv, and I taught design thinking. It was to like, corporate types that wanted to sort of loosen up and learn more. So
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
our improv is. I don't think it's really called improv. In Dutch, it's kleinkunst,
I like
and
that. Kleinkunst.
and it's like small art if you translate it literally. But it's a combination of sketches and and improv and singing. So write
Oh,
funny songs. It's
wow.
like kind of like a cabaret style, like different aspects to it, and then make a show.
Huh.
And that's
That
really
sounds awesome.
interesting. Yeah. I mean, the great thing with that is that there is no fourth wall, how they call it, right? Like if you're just normal theater on a stage, you're playing your play as if there is no audience. Um, but with improv or with kleinkunst, cabaret, you know
Huh,
that there's an
cool.
audience, and you actually interact with the audience. You can actually call them out and interact with you on a stage if. Um, you're supposed to do that kind of, not all the time, but so it's
Cool.
it's highly interactive. Yeah.
Kleinkunst. How do you spell it? KLANKUNST?
Klein
IN.
and then KUNST.
Oh, okay. I was close. I did the A. That's cool. Okay. I always um
It's one word, by the way.
right. Kleinkunst. Music genre. Boy, the search in Brave is not very good.
Oh, it's not about Brave. That's just what you set as your search engine.
Oh, yeah. So it's I don't know what I was using. Anyway.
I think I'm still using Google in Brave as a search engine. I'm or no, or I had DuckDuckGo, but I mean that is so freaking annoying.
Yeah. Kleinkunst, a musical and or comedic kind of theater such as cabaret. Oh, interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Wow, that sounds a lot of fun. Um, cool. So want to talk about, should we have segments on our show?
That is always nice to have some kind of
Just so there's a structure. Yeah, exactly. Do you have any ideas of what we could do? For our other show, we have a poem, which I don't think would fit for this. I mean, maybe it would, but I don't want to research poems all the time because I'm already doing it for the other show. But one of the things I've liked in other shows is when you have a guest, you have 10 questions that you have each time, and all the answer.
I used to work on the launch of a podcast like half a year ago.
Oh, really?
Which then never happened for various reasons. Everybody was busy. But for that one, I did some structures.
Oh.
And one of the things we had in mind was to have every, there was a section called Roast It.
Roast It, okay.
And the idea was that we would research projects online which were either really good or really, really bad.
Oh, okay.
And we would get one of the, because we're doing a hardware thing, right? We're in a hardware accelerator. So we would have that item and we would kind of discuss it or dissect it or whatever and let the audience vote on or rate what we should do with it. Like, is this a great item? And then we would kind of randomly like give it to someone of the audience, like with some system, like somebody would win it. And if it's really bad, if people voted really, really bad, we would roast it, and we would literally roast it. We would either throw it in a campfire or explode it or smash hammer it or whatever.
Wow.
We would destroy it. So if the item got roasted, I mean, like roasted is bad feedback, right? Like
right, yeah.
That was my idea, but it means it's quite some work to do, right? I mean, you have to every week need an item, and so you don't have to take that whole idea, but I mean,
right. I like parts about it. The only thing I don't like is that I don't know if I want to say bad things about people that I don't know.
But it's not about people. Yeah, it's about the product.
But I feel like some people really put their heart into a project and would.
But listen, there is this kind of like there has been like keyboards for people who can't really move their fingers, and you can probably like put one letter of a word per 5 seconds by rotating 2 discs, and then if you do anything wrong, you have to start at the beginning of the sentence. And like this thing, this absolutely is a UX nightmare. And the things, and they sell for like $1,200 each because it's something for like special audiences, and nobody loves it. I mean, how can you say anything good about it except like the inventor is really good that he's able to make so much money out of a $20 piece of plastic.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a like we could do a review, and then
it's not us, right? It's the audience who should like.
Oh yeah.
You do need to have an audience then, of course, but if you have an audience, then the audience should vote if it's good or bad. Like or a guest, like if you have a guest on, and then you do the review together with a guest. And then you can put the blame of the bad reviews on a guest and not on us.
I really like that idea of lighting it on fire. I don't know that I would have the resources to do that. We could do it with special effects. Does my image look blurry to you?
Sometimes it zooms in or out, but
okay. So if I push this button, which is initial boot position, I'm doing it now, and it sharpens up. then it didn't do it that time. So I don't know what's going on with my camera. Oh, there, see?
Yeah.
This looks better, but then it fuzzes out. Okay. Sorry, maybe if I get an editor, we'll cut that part out. Okay, let's see, other ideas. 10 questions. It'd be really cool to get an audience once we get this thing rolling.
I need to look my notes up. I mean, I have this structure somewhere, but I don't think I can find it.
So you've already done a lot of thinking on this. That's cool. Okay.
Well, it because we're doing a hardware accelerator, and we want to do a podcast for that. And I mean, how this hardware accelerator is very close related to Hacker Podcast. So
definitely, yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. No, it's not under podcast, so I wouldn't really know where to look.
Okay, well, let's do this offline if you have time. You can send me the docs. I'll do. I like to come up with 10 ideas for things, and I'm always looking for subjects to come up with 10 ideas for. So I could do 10 ideas for segments.
Oh.
Did you have any feedback on the logo? Like, should we just run with it, or would it need? Like, do you have any other?
Can you make the letters in the top also with depth?
Yeah, I could try that. Let me do. I can't do it right now, but
because if they would look embossed in the label, so the red part stands out a little bit more.
So is it sharing? It should be sharing. So
a hacker code, that part. If that's, I'm not sure if that font is ideal, but for now it's fine. But if that font can look embossed in the plastic.
Oh, right. Instead of.
Because that is the fixed part, right? That is the part what never changes, and only the part the white card is like a card what you slide in from the side. So, a hacker code should look like not like printed on a piece of plastic, but it should a little bit look like it's embossed, like injection molded or something.
Okay, I could try that. I was trying to model those cheap stickers that you get at conferences that you fill it out and you stick it on.
That's also. But then they wouldn't have shadow in the white part, then.
That's true, yeah. That's true. I mean, I could get rid of the shadow altogether. I don't know. Let me try different things and I'll send it to you through WeChat. And if we don't have any audience yet, so no one can vote, but we can figure it out. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I'll try that.
How do you grow audiences for podcasts? I mean, do you make groups on social media or how does that work?
I think all of the above. I mean, we would. I think you pay advertising and you get people to advertise to it. But right now, I wouldn't know what to do with the advertisers. I don't have an email list or anything set up, so that's a future question. But I
mean, at least a landing page with with a form where they can leave their name and email address.
Yeah, so I'm going to set up that. That's the first step. Is set up a landing page and an email list. The email list, which I've done before. The only thing about an email list that intimidates me is now we've got to write emails to everyone, which I got to do anyway. But then once we get the structure set up, I think we should spend a little bit we meaning me, I guess, I should spend a little bit on advertising. And I think I've, like with Google ads or whatever, and get a few people, maybe Facebook.
I'm curious how you, what the result will be. It's like I've never paid for advertising.
Oh, okay.
And I'm curious about it because I do think also for the accelerator, it's good to get out to the public what we do, not only having organic. Organic works for now. I mean, we're running the cohort, but once you are running, like, this is my first cohort, right? I mean, the accelerator is older, but it's the first time that I'm joining as a director. And for me, having it a little bit smaller right now is good because I'm doing ops, so I'm responsible for all the technology, and it's good to get my feedback with a smaller cohort. But once everything is in place and the learning management system is in place, and like I've gamified that, so all the automations are in place, then it's good to scale up. So by that, I'm actually interested in advertising to see how that could work. So if you pull it off to do it successfully for the podcast, then I want to learn from you.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, and vice versa. Well, hopefully we can learn from each other on this, because it's. I've got some projects that need advertising as well. Actually, I need to take your accelerator course for some of the.
It's only for hardware people.
Yeah, well, not for the podcast, but I have some hardware projects.
Yeah.
There's
there's minimum 3 requirements, but actually it's like 4 or 5. So first of all, it must be a hardware project. We don't do software, but we love it if your hardware has a software component to it, because a lot of times there's more business models possible, or recurring, or whatever. And I mean, it's an accelerator program is to make money. I mean, for you, right? I mean, to put your product into reality and to sell it and to scale it up, and to make a profitable business for it for a long time, and then either to sell or whatever your company or go IPO. Technically, but this is an idea stage accelerator, so it's very, very, very early stage. So it must be a hardware product. You must be able to explain what value it adds to your customer. So if you can't explain what the value is, if there's nothing unique about it, or there's just a fidget cube or whatever, we probably don't accept you. I mean, it must be meaningful. And the third is you must be able to explain how it works. So it's not like you just come up with an idea right now and you haven't thought about it yet. You must have given it some thought, and you know what you want to do with it. These are the 3 main things. The 4th thing is probably that you're able to pay the fee for the program, because we don't take equity or anything, and we want the founders to have skin in the game. So we do charge a little bit. And the 5th one would potentially be that you have some budget for prototyping, because it's a hardware product. I mean, if you don't have, like, if you cannot prototype, I mean, there's still ways how we can get you funding, but it's good if you have some budget for that yourself as well.
Cool. What is the fee, or is that changing each cohort?
Yeah, right now it's $3,000 US.
That's for the next one that you're going to run, or?
Well, I'm not sure yet about the next one.
Okay.
So it used to be way cheaper in the past, but like the value of this program, and every founder tells the same, the value of this program is enormous. So this program is very likely worth much, much more than we're asking. And as such, the more experience we get, the price will probably go up. But
so the one you're doing now is 3,000. The next one is undecided.
Now, we're in week 3. That was 2,995.
Right. Okay.
And I think, like, if there are people like signing up right now for the next cohort, which is in a few months, we probably just still charge 3 because we haven't thought about it yet. But
Okay.
once we're like done with this cohort, or we really start a campaigning for it, it might be more. It could be more.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right. Well, with that, let's close up our podcast.
Yeah.
And if you could send me the link. I put links in the last one. I don't know if you checked it out. I haven't even looked at it to see how many views we got. But send me the link to your thing, and I'll see if I can watch again and see if there's anything we've mentioned and put links to that as well.
Yeah.
Link to Kleinkunst and the guy you mentioned, whose name I'm forgetting now, the Floob.
Yeah.
And
Matt.
Matthew. Cool.
He
Okay.
doesn't like Matthew.
Matt of Floob. Cool. Okay. Okay. Slow start. I feel like we're shifting into like second gear now. maybe we're still rolling down the hill trying to bump start, but I think we've made a solid start. We got 4 episodes. Pat each other on the back, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
That work for you?
Sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Hank. Talk to you next Tuesday. All right.
See you next week. Bye, buddy.
Cool. Now I got to figure out how to stop recording.